Hello YouTube, this is Griswold again. Today I'm going to show you how to make an egg or an omelet. What you do is you preheat the stove to turn the heat on about medium. And I'm going to be using this size pan. It's about that deep and then that big. I call it an omelet pan. Well, this is the size pan that my mom used to cook omelets in. And this is the way she taught me how to do it. Well, she said to use spray, but I'm using butter because I don't have no spray. And what you do is you warm the pan up. And I've already cooked an omelet in here. That's why I still got a little butter on here. And so it isn't, I ain't starting with a dirty dish. I just already cooked in here a couple seconds ago. But what you do is you cut a piece of butter. I'm going to set this down. I'm going to cut the butter here. You take a little scoop of butter and you put it in the pan. And what you want to do is you want to spread the butter all over the pan so it doesn't stick. Because if the omelet sticks to the pan, what it's going to do is not turn out as good. And it's going to be ripping apart and all that. So then what you want to do is you want to let that heat up a couple seconds. Now you can either take your eggs and put them in a bowl and mix them up like that with a fork and a bowl. But I usually what I do is I put it right in the pan. So what you do is you take your egg like this and you tap it on the side. Then what you do is you spread the egg apart like that. Usually you do it with two hands, but I need one hand to hold the camera. And then what you do is you throw the eggshell away. I do 2 eggs for an omelet. And then what I do is I take the spatula here and I break the yolks and I mix the egg up just like you would in a bowl. Then I kind of knock some of it off the sides. I'm going to go ahead and put the butter away. And what you want to do is you want to cook your egg for about, well, they say 3 minutes, but it all depends on the size or the temperature that you set the heat or the stove at and things of that sort. Of course, naturally, if you turn the heat up a little higher, it's going to cook a little faster. I got mine now a little above medium. It's an electric stove. I don't really care too much for them. I prefer a gas stove, or I was thinking about getting a propane stove actually. Eventually I want to go off grid, but that's a whole nother video itself. But yeah, you just cook it and you wait, and you want to wait until it's not real liquidy on top, like real runny rather. Because it makes it a little easier to flip, so you're not making a mess and getting raw egg all over the place. You want to remember to wash your hands thoroughly after dealing with raw food, and so you don't get sick. Most of the time you won't get sick, but it's just a precaution you could take, just to be a little extra safer. I don't recommend this. I usually do this. It's just me here, but I don't recommend putting the dirty spatula on the carton, the lid carton like that. You can get yourself a little plate, or they got little things you can put on the stove where you can set your utensil. I don't really know what they're called. Or you can just use a plate. And what you want to do is what my mom always taught me to do was you go like this, and you go around the outside of the omelet. Okay. That frees up any egg that's on the side, and so it's not sticking. And what you want to do is it needs to cook a little longer, but before I flip it. But what you want to do is make sure it's not sticking on the edges, because if it's sticking on the edges, when you go to get under it and flip it, what it's going to do is it's going to ruin the egg. And it's going to fall apart and all kind. You're going to have just a mess, and you're not going to have a pretty egg. So what you do is you go around like that, and you kind of slide it underneath and unstick it, and then you flip it. And that looks like a nice omelet right there. And what I usually do, grab a piece of cheese here. Kind of hard to do this with one hand, but what I do, oh man, I gotta set the camera down again. Is I take my piece of cheese and I just lay it there in the middle after I flip it. And what that does is it helps melt it a little bit. Now you don't have to cook it on this second side very long. Depends on if you like your eggs a little more browner, or depends on, you just gotta experiment with it. But just make sure they're fully cooked, because you don't want to eat too many raw eggs. Probably ain't good for you. Once in a while isn't too bad, I guess. And then what I do after it's done, I flip it over like that. That's how my mom taught me to make an egg or an omelet. And then you can put remember to shut your stove off, and put it in between two pieces of bread, and there you go, an egg sandwich. Thanks for watching, YouTube.